10 reasons you should go all in on YouTube right now. Whether you want to start a side hustle, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a speaker, coach, course creator, and you want to build your personal brand and generate more leads and customers and sales, or whether you just want to launch a hobby and express your creativity, I really believe that right now is the best time to go all in on YouTube. And actually, in this two-part series on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the first 5 reasons to go all in on YouTube, which are actually internal benefits. Now, stick around until the end because really nobody talks about these. And this is actually why starting a YouTube channel will actually transform your life. It's a big promise, but your life will be transformed for the better because of starting a YouTube channel. And then in part 2, we're going to talk about the second 5 benefits, which are actually external benefits. And we're going to be talking about how starting a YouTube channel will grow your income, your business, and impact your world. So let's jump into number 1. The first reason you should start a YouTube channel is to become a creator and not just a consumer. One of the ways I like to measure success in my life is to judge each day not by what I consume, but by what I create. And there's something so powerful that happens in your personal life when you step off the sidelines and you actually get into the game. I want to ask you a question. Imagine a world where you actually created more than you consume. Maybe kind of tough because maybe right now you consume some YouTube. I know I do. You consume some Instagram. You scroll on TikTok. Maybe you're watching some Netflix or some Hulu. Maybe you're finishing up Better Call Saul, the final, season and final episodes, right? Maybe you're consuming in a gaming context. And the majority of humans are actually in the consumer category. Now, listen, I'm a consumer. I like to purchase things. I like to watch things. I like to be entertained. I like to be educated. But something dynamically changes when you become a creator and not just a consumer. And imagine if you set a goal of creating more than you consumed, of getting off the sidelines where a lot of times the armchair critics like to critique those that are actually playing the game and to get into the game yourself. When you start to create, that's where the action is. The goal is to press in where most people procrastinate. Have you been sitting on the sidelines? Have you been just afraid to jump out of just watching the Think Media podcast or listening to it on Spotify or Apple? Have you just been watching other creators, watching other business owners, watching other peers in your space, consuming what everybody else is doing, but you haven't pressed record yourself? Friend, it's time to become a creator. And here's what's interesting. Is actually too much consumption is actually a negative. Multiple studies have actually found that there's a strong link between heavy social media consumption and an increased risk of depression, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. In fact, social media may promote negative experiences such as inadequacy about your life or your appearance. Wow. So that's the plight of the consumer in the extreme case. But now listen to this. If you find yourself growing weary and anxious about the future, scientific research indicates that regardless of your artistic experience or your talent, just a 45-minute session of focused creative activity significantly lowers your cortisol levels in your body and thus reduces your overall stress. Friend, being a creator is where your power is. When you get off the sidelines and you start creating, you start to get more self-confidence. You start to get momentum. You actually reduce stress. Your cortisol levels go lower when you express your creativity and you punch fear in the face and press record. I want to encourage you. One of the reasons to go all in on YouTube is to join the creator economy, is to join this world of being an action taker, a builder, a designer, not just a talker, but a doer. And one of the reasons I love this is because God, our creator, designed us in his image to be creative. So ultimately, we are most like our creator when we are being fruitful, when we're multiplying, when we're in the game, when we're creating, not just consuming. Number two, one of the reasons to go all in on YouTube, and remember, these are internal benefits. We're going to get into, yes, you could get views and all that kind of stuff, but this is some of that inner game that really can transform your life. The second reason is history and legacy. I actually surveyed some people in our community and I asked, why did you start a YouTube channel? Here's what Mon Life said. She said, we started out to document random and funny, cute things that my kids did when they were babies, but over time, we got more into vlogging. So it turned into something. Their channel got some momentum. They started actually bringing some structure to it, but it started out just as documenting life, documenting their children. Danny Hollenbeck said this, to build a video library legacy for my two daughters to have as a remembrance of who their dad is and of what I love to do. So I think one reason everybody should start a YouTube channel is to document their life, their experience, their knowledge, their wisdom, and actually to put some of their legacy and their history on tape. Remember, this isn't necessarily for others people. This isn't because it'll get big. This is for the next generation. One of the things that gives me a lot of confidence is that should today be my very last day, I am grateful that my sons have an archive of their dad with some of my ideas, my thoughts, who I was. In fact, with as many videos as I've created, they really could get to know me and actually have quite an experience with their dad if I was, God forbid, to pass away at this very moment. And I'm actually intentionally building this, and I have so much bubbling within me. I have so much I want to share in regards to my vision, my values, lessons, like 10 things I want my son to know. This is some different videos that I want to create. I actually am reminded of my cousin who actually sat down and interviewed many of our family members and many of his parents, his aunts, his uncles. Friend, have you thought about starting a YouTube channel for the history and legacy aspect? There's something about becoming a creator. There's something about starting to just put history out there, put your journey out there, put your transformation out there. The person who's just consuming, they don't have that archive. The person who's pressing record has an archive, a legacy that's on YouTube. Number three is express your creativity. To express your creativity. Forget getting subscribers. Let's get those too. Forget making money. Let's do that also. But what about just expressing your creativity? What about just actually relaxing a little bit? Take a deep breath. Let's chill out a little bit. We're all trying to get big. We're all trying to go viral. We're all trying to, build our businesses. And I'm into all of that stuff. But there's something about also just slowing down and enjoying the process. There's something about just being a maker, just actually putting in some hard work and having something to show for it at the end of the day. Jevin said this, I started YouTube as a place to have a creative outlet away from my clients. So even as a videographer, he was doing client work for other people, but he also wanted just a place to express himself. YouTube can be a creative outlet and a place where you experiment, share, you have fun, and you let your creativity expand. Again, how do we trick the algorithm? How do we please the algorithm? How do we please the audience? Those are legitimate questions. How do we get videos to go viral? What's working right now on YouTube? I mean, that's what this podcast is about. But there's a whole other side of this. And remember, these are the 5 inner reasons to go all in on YouTube, because there's just something powerful about expressing your creativity, about maybe just experimenting a little bit. Listen, experimenting with one video that's maybe slightly off brand or not fully in your niche, it might just be for you. Post the video. That's not going to kill your channel. It might just be something that allows you to express your creativity. Number 4, personal growth. I believe that one of the most powerful reasons you should go all in on YouTube is because it is a great way to accelerate your personal growth. You see, starting a YouTube channel is going to push you out of your comfort zone. It's really going to challenge you to learn new skills. It's going to build your confidence. It's going to force you to expand your knowledge. It's going to require you to embrace continuous problem solving. It's going to develop your resilience. I have learned that starting a YouTube channel is one of the greatest personal development tools that I believe exists in the modern era. Why? Because you're really your own media company. You're really actually starting a business, even as a solo creator that might just be doing a hobby. Because what are you doing? You gotta market your channel. You're trying to uploading a thumbnail is like uploading a graphic image. It's the visual to promote a video. Trying to title your video. You're trying to learn how to write titles. You're trying to learn how to communicate on camera and edit. You have to bring such a multiplicity of skills, and then eventually you're thinking about maybe I can monetize this. You're trying to think about negotiation. How do I negotiate with brands? Maybe you're trying to hire somebody. Now you're actually building out a team, so you're a manager of others. Even if you just hire a VA through VidShops or a virtual assistant type of an editor, you're running a media company. Even if it's just small, and if it's just you, you're wearing multiple hats. What that does is it forces you to grow. Is it easy? No. Can it be painful? Absolutely. But life is about growth. When we sit still, we actually lose ground. But when we press into our future and we challenge ourselves and learn new skills, one of the best ways to challenge yourself to grow is, again, to stop consuming, to start creating, and you're just going to see a lot of growth. And it's not going to be without pressure. Like, you might feel like quitting. You might feel like it's heavy. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel like there's a lot to learn. And that's all true. But friend, remember, pressure creates diamonds. The personal growth you will experience will benefit your life. And here's what I want to say, because of course, check out part 2, and we're going to get into all kinds of other benefits. But listen, if your YouTube channel never blows up, but you become a creator, you're going to have more confidence because of that. If your YouTube channel never even goes to the moon and you never have 1 million subscribers, but you have a history and legacy and memories that you can share with your family and the next generation, there's something powerful about that. If you're expressing your creativity and you're growing personally, it changes you. This is why I'm so convinced that everyone should start a YouTube channel, because you will be a better person if you embrace the pain and the challenge of creating content, putting it out there, learning the lessons. You'll be a better employee at the next place you work. You'll be a better leader at your next job. You'll be a better entrepreneur in the next thing you start, because YouTube forces growth if you stay committed and you start a channel. And number 5, build a portfolio. Your video library ultimately becomes an archive of your story, of your knowledge, of your work. I now am 12 years into this, maybe even longer, because I started a channel for my church in 2007. We did a vlog for the pastor. I started doing different videos for the church, these video announcements. That's still on YouTube. There's still that original 2007 channel there. So I can look back at that and see part of the journey. I can look back at the 2009 content that I put out there for my business called Clear Vision Media, and I could see that portfolio of some of my work. And then, of course, today, my YouTube channels are a portfolio of my work. But there's something powerful about having a portfolio. Whenever somebody applies at Think Media for certain positions, it's super funny. Someone's like, hey, I'd love to be a graphic designer at Think Media. We just ask them one question. Send us your portfolio. Like, show us your work. Now, listen, you might not even go all in on YouTube, but maybe you're a public speaker. Show us your portfolio. Like, where's the videos of you speaking? If you're a graphic designer, show us a portfolio, maybe some tutorials, but also that shows what you're capable of. If you're somebody who works in HR, you could have a YouTube channel sharing your HR tips. And then when you apply someplace, you're like, hey, here's some of this content I've taught. We're like, wow, we got a portfolio of your thought leadership, of your expertise, of your knowledge, of who you are, of your core values, of what you believe. And then, of course, if you are a videographer or something else, you've got a portfolio. If you're doing Airbnbs and real estate, you're documenting the journey on YouTube. We're saying, oh, there's your portfolio of the empire you're building in real estate. There's just something powerful about having a portfolio, having a place where you're documenting your work. You don't have to just be a creative. You could be just documenting with a janky smartphone, a little selfie stick, and just kind of documenting your professional life. You could be documenting your artistic drawing life, your music life. There's something about having a portfolio. And I know personally, I am proud of my portfolio. As I've built it up, every upload that has gone into that bucket, into that portfolio, actually just continues to compound my confidence. And so when I think about these first 5 things, these are internal truths and results of what happens when you commit to starting a YouTube channel. So, friend, have you started yet? Have you punched fear in the face yet? Have you been on the fence and actually just wondering if you should go all in? In part 2, we're going to talk about other benefits and really the external benefits of starting a YouTube channel. But I would argue these internal benefits are almost more important. Life is not so much about the destination that we're going to reach one day, but it's about the journey. And these are journey reasons. I'm becoming a creator. I'm expressing my creativity. I'm building legacy. I'm building a portfolio. I'm sharing my journey. I'm growing personally. That is a transformative experience. It's not a moment in time. One of the things we've been talking about here at Think Media is that creating content is not a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. That starting a YouTube channel is not just a place where you just post one video and ignore it, it's a habit, it's a routine. And it is a habit and a routine and a lifestyle that can be incredibly powerful to help you express your creativity, grow personally, build a portfolio, create legacy, and ultimately become a creator and not just a consumer.